Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something you've asked about quite a bit, metacognition.
hmm
Or, this idea of thinking about thinking.
Right.
You're keen on learning better, tackling problems more effectively, and, well, metacognition seems key.
It really is.
So our mission today, let's unpack it, get past the jargon, and find the practical stuff you can actually use.
Exactly. We're sort of using your questions as a guide, exploring how understanding our own minds gives us, well, an edge.
Okay, let's start there. Thinking about thinking. It sounds a little abstract. What does it actually mean?
Well, yeah, it can sound that way. But basically, it's just becoming aware of your own thought processes.
Okay.
Imagine you're learning something new, maybe a skill. Metacognition's like stepping back for a second
Uh-huh.
and thinking, okay, how am I learning this? What's clicking? What's still fuzzy?
Right.
It's being conscious of your understanding while it's happening.
Right, so it's active, not just, say, reading a chapter and hoping it sticks.
Precisely. You're checking in with yourself. And that awareness, that monitoring, is what makes learning so much more effective.
How so? What does that awareness actually do?
Well, if you realize you're not quite getting a concept, you can adjust your strategy right then and there.
Ah.
Maybe you reread a section or look for a different explanation or, make some notes specifically about what's confusing you.
So you're steering the ship, not just grifting.
Exactly. It's that self-regulation part. It leads to deeper understanding and ultimately better retention.
Okay, that makes sense. It feels like maybe we do some of this already without the fancy label. What are some everyday examples?
Oh, definitely. Think about planning a big project.
Okay.
You're outlining steps, thinking about potential problems, deciding how you'll tackle each part. That's metacognitive planning.
Right, strategizing.
Yeah. Or maybe after you've tried to fix something around the house, you think, okay, that didn't work, but this approach did.
Evaluating the process.
Exactly. That's evaluating your cognitive approach, your thinking.
Got it. So how do we start building this skill, maybe especially in kids? How do parents or teachers encourage it?
It often starts with the right kind of questions, prompting reflection.
So less focus on just the right answer.
Yes. Ask things like, how did you figure that out? Or what made you think of trying that? It gets them thinking about their process, not just the outcome.
Yeah.
That builds the muscle.
You mentioned earlier two aspects, metacognitive knowledge and regulation. Can you separate those out a bit?
Sure. Metacognitive knowledge is basically what you know about thinking,
Like,
like knowing your own strengths. I'm good at remembering facts or knowing about tasks. This kind of problem needs careful planning. Or knowing strategies. Making flashcards helps me learn definitions.
okay, so that's the knowing part. What's regulation?
Regulation is the doing part. It's using that knowledge to manage your thinking.
Ah,
So knowing you focus better in quiet and then actually choosing to study somewhere quiet. It's the planning, monitoring your progress, and evaluating how well your strategy is working.
knowledge versus action. Got it. Does this ability change much as we get older?
Oh, absolutely. It develops over time.
Mm.
As we mature, our understanding of our own minds becomes, more sophisticated.
More nuanced.
Yeah, more nuanced.
Yeah.
We get better at judging task difficulty, selecting appropriate strategies, and monitoring our understanding more effectively.
And linking this to problem solving, how does thinking about our thinking help when we hit a tricky challenge?
It helps you avoid getting stuck. By being aware, you can consciously consider different ways to approach the problem.
Instead of just banging your head against the wall with one method.
Right. You can evaluate potential strategies, monitor if your current approach is actually working, and switch gears if needed. It makes your problem solving more flexible and, frankly, more likely to succeed.
Okay, here's an interesting link I was thinking about. How does this connect to, say, emotional intelligence? Understanding our thoughts and understanding emotions seem related.
They are definitely related. A big part of metacognition is self-awareness, understanding your own internal states, including thoughts and feelings.
Right.
That self-awareness is also, a cornerstone of emotional intelligence. Understanding your own emotional triggers and responses helps you manage them, and it also helps you empathize and understand others' emotions better.
Fascinating overlap. What about culture? Does everyone kind of approach thinking about thinking the same way, or are there differences?
That's a good question. The basic capacity is likely universal, but how it's encouraged or expressed might differ.
Like how it's taught.
Yeah, or what aspects are emphasized. Some cultures might really focus on collaborative reflection in groups, while others might stress individual self-monitoring more. It's an area where there's still more to learn.
Makes sense. One last area, well-being. We hear so much about anxiety, overthinking. Can metacognition help manage that?
I think it can be a powerful tool, yes, because metacognition allows you to gain some distance from your thoughts.
To observe them.
Exactly. To observe them without necessarily buying into them immediately,
Mm-hmm.
you can start to notice patterns like repetitive negative thoughts.
And then challenge them.
Precisely. By recognizing a thought as just a thought or as part of an unhelpful pattern, you gain the ability to question it, to evaluate its accuracy, rather than just being swept away by the anxiety it causes.
So, pulling it all together, the big takeaway seems to be that metacognition isn't just some academic concept.
Not at all.
It's a really practical skill set. It helps us learn better, solve problems more effectively, and even manage our emotional lives with more awareness.
Well put. It's about becoming more aware and more intentional in how we use our own minds.
Mm.
Taking control, really.
Right. So for you listening, here's something to chew on. Think about a challenge you're facing right now or something new you're trying to learn. What if you just paused for a moment, consciously thought about how you're thinking about it? What's your approach? Is it working? Could you try something different? Just applying that little bit of metacognitive awareness. What might change? That's something to explore after this deep dive.